Thank you very much. Look, just a very quick potted history. BREAZE is a voluntary run organisation. We are all volunteers. We're an incorporated association with tax deductibility status. We've been around about 13 years. In fact, it formed through a number of citizens going on a walk around Lake Wendouree, the walk against warming, getting to the end of it and saying, well, what are we going to do? There's something that needs to be done here at a local level. Our vision is that by 2020, we're going to the Ballarat community will have significantly reduced its greenhouse gas emissions with the direct intention of achieving zero emissions by 2030, therefore very relevant to what we're discussing today as a broader community. What have we achieved over this period of time? We started out doing lots of bulk purchases. In fact, when BREAZE started, I think we could identify 3 residential properties in Ballarat that had solar panels. And at that point in time, a number of BREAZE members mobilised, and if you became a member of BREAZE, you could purchase either a Advocacy evacuated tube solar hot water system, or you could purchase some PV panels with the good quality inverters all installed and serviced by BREAZE. We've moved into the community education and advocacy programs with the support of the City of Ballarat, and I'll talk about that a bit later on. We've promoted local food and produce supply and trading opportunities. We've facilitated community energy projects. We've facilitated social equity in access to energy efficiency and renewable energy, and we've provided opportunities for sustainability co-ops to exist under our umbrella insurances and incorporation. We've also established BREAZE Energy Solutions as a trading entity. BREAZE Inc., which is the volunteer not-for-profit organisation, now has about a 15 or 17% shareholding. We've let our baby go, but they utilise our brand. Who are we? We have our President, Paul Duggan, here today. I'm just pointing at Paul down there. We have an executive of a vice president, a secretary, and a treasurer, and 4 other board members. We have a number of volunteers who do all of the grunt work around organising our volunteers, organising our membership, our multimedia, graphic design, solicitor, legal advice, etc., etc. So it's basically having a bit of a dream team. And a bit of an error there, we've got more than 170 financial members. We've in fact got 360. I think the 170 were people who renewed this year. Many have 5-year membership. We get out a monthly newsletter to our readers, and there's a readership of over 1,500. The importance of local food and produce in this whole thing about reducing our greenhouse gas emissions, it comes down to us to try and convince consumers to make different choices. So in doing so, we did operate the Ballarat Farmers Market for 4 years at Lake Wendouree. Our members have potluck dinners, and we have auspiced the establishment of the Bunnyong Community Collective, which is a food purchasing co-op. Environmental sustainable design in buildings, we've done a fair bit in that space. We make sure that every year we are a participant in the Smart Building and Living Expo, which is held at Royal Park in Bunnyong, and we generally have an Ask the Experts area there. We've supported National Sustainable House Day program each year, and we've provided presentations by architects and practitioners on good design at both the Smart Living Ballarat program and Green Drinks, and we've utilised the Warborough Wind Farm Trust Fund to actually carry out inspections and retrofits to a number of homes in that area. Community energy projects, as Taryn spoke before, there's a big groundswell and opportunity for community-owned, community-operated and community-purchased or funded renewable energy projects. In that space, apart from the bulk purchases that we did back in 2008 to 2011, we crowdfunded the installation of a 30 kilowatt system at Ballarat Regional Industries, and that gave a social enterprise an opportunity to save money, to have green power and to reinvest that money in providing more training opportunities for their clients. The Community Power Hub pilot project has just finished, and we're seeing, as a result of the 2 years investment by the Victorian Government, a number of projects identified across the region. 44 projects were identified by various members of the community. We prepared 16 feasibility studies and business cases, and 5 of those projects are fully implemented at this point in time. We have 7 projects which are in the pipeline. In other words, the feasibility study has shown that they are a no-brainer, and the proponents are actually looking for funding either through grants or internally. And we have a flagship project which is pretty important in our region. Again, another good advertisement for Ararat as an area that's really pushing renewable energy. The East Grampians Health Services Maximising Solar project is looking to invest a total of 525 kilowatts of roof-mounted PV across its various campuses. So 0.5 megawatt is not a bad outcome from basically doing a business case that proved to the board of this community organisation that most of it could be funded internally. They are actually currently looking for additional money to fund car parks with solar panels on them, so that basically we're providing that weather protection with the benefit of additional PVs. What this has done is it's actually reduced their operating costs by $137,000 per annum on current tariff rates, and of course that we know which direction they're going. It's reducing their fixed costs and it's saving $3.2 million over the life of the asset. So there's a really good example of how it just takes getting the right advice to the decision makers in a business how to invest and proving up the technology. So that's out to tender as we speak. Tenders will be closing early September and we should be making announcements about the awarded contracts in that space. From a community education and advocacy point of view, we have run with the support of the City of Ballarat the Smart Living Ballarat program from 2011 to date. It was initially funded through Sustainability Victoria to provide us with the funding to source materials and a shop front. We found after a period of time that to run a shop front was incredibly volunteer intensive, and we had to actually pay volunteers, a person to supervise the volunteers to meet all of our safety requirements. We then transcended to running a kiosk in the City of Ballarat Central Library, and we've now moved to a far more nimble model where we provide monthly presentations. We're currently located at the Eastwood Leisure Centre. So every month the public get invited to come into a topic around sustainability. We also run World Environment Day activities, the Sustainable House Day activities for the region. This year and 3 other times we've launched the Walk Against Warming around Lake Wendouree to try and encourage the mums and dads of Ballarat to sort of take an hour or two out of their day and think about what it means to reduce our emissions. We also run Green Drinks, which is an international network of people who come together once a month to talk about sustainability, many of the people from professionals in that area. And we obviously are active in that space of putting submissions to parliamentary inquiries, one of which is due in on Monday in relation to climate change. From a social equity point of view, an important role to play as a not-for-profit enterprise. We have, as I mentioned, tax deductible gift status, which has allowed us to actually source quite a lot of donations, and we've used those donations plus value added to those donations by applying for grants to provide rooftop PV systems and solar hot water in social housing across our region. We've done that in Ballarat, Ararat and Horsham. We've also undertaken the Warborough retrofit project using the Asiona Warborough Community Fund. Thank you, Melanie, for putting us in touch with that. So what we've managed to do is take money from that fund, pay assessors to go to the houses in the region around the wind farm, carry out an assessment as to how they can improve their energy efficiency, and where people are on limited income, we've extended that fund to actually do up to $1,000 of retrofitting to their houses, which has been things like draft stopping, putting in blinds and making simple changes to insulation. Currently we're working with McCallum Industries. The Minister's down today to announce a grant at McCallum in their packing area where a 40 kilowatt system has gone in, but we've also been working with their residential sector, and with a number of other contributors we have achieved a 10-star hostel project where people can live independently. And we've been working with Uniting Ballarat and the Opportunity Shop in Howard Street 2 weeks ago had a 10 kilowatt solar system put in, again through money that we've raised. A very important role for a group like BREAZE is to allow fledgling organisations to have access to public liability insurance, being able to establish a bank account and having access to our incorporated association status. And in recent months we've established the Repair Cafe with support from Grampian Central West Waste Resource Recovery Group and others. And we've established the Buninyong Cooperative Community Collective, which is a food purchasing Cooperative and the Buninyong Boomerang Bags. And with that, I shall finish.